Hello and welcome to today's web seminar, Integrated Email Marketing and Appointment Setting for Highly Effective Insurance Lead Gen. This webinar is brought to you by StartUpSelling and is open to insurance agencies, brokers, and wholesalers. It's not open to marketing and lead gen organizations. You can enter questions at any time during the webinar via the question box or chat box. We'll queue up your inquiries for a Q&A session at the conclusion of the presentation. We'll have two speakers today. Our featured speaker is Alan Bloom. Alan is the author of Your Virtual Success and Sell More and Work Less. He was named to the prestigious Inc. 500 list in 2 consecutive years. He's the creator of the Prospect Scorecard and has written over 150 marketing articles, primarily talking about marketing for agencies, wholesale brokers. And he also has over a decade of insurance marketing experience. Your second speaker is me, John Scranton. I am an insurance agency marketing expert who was previously an insurance producer, like many of you, for a top 100 agency in New York State. I was a co-author on Sell More and Work Less, and since arriving at StartUpSelling, I've driven a marketing and lead gen campaign, which includes email marketing and appointment setting, that has more than doubled our revenue. And I specialize in managing those types of campaigns, e-marketing and appointment setting, for our agency and wholesale broker clients. Which is the perfect segue to what we're going to talk about today. The 2 key components to a successful integrated marketing initiative are 1, email marketing, and 2, appointment setting. How do we know this? Well, there's several examples that I can give you right off the bat. First off, we mentioned some of Alan's past successes. One of his stories is that he used this methodology that we'll be talking about today to build a bootstrap startup from no market penetration to over 50% market penetration. I also mentioned that I used this methodology with Alan and our team to more than double the size of our company here at StartUpSelling. And most importantly, our most successful insurance agency and wholesale broker clients all use some or all of the e-marketing and appointment setting tactics that we'll be reviewing today. So let's dive in. So why integrated marketing? Well, if the samples I just shared didn't convince you quickly enough, let's talk about some more detailed factors. Why do you need both? The answer has many elements, and here's a few of the important ones here. First off, they create synergy. Email marketing campaigns touch prospects and warm up calls that are made to follow up as opposed to cold calls. Calls generate clicks and opens because when you call somebody on the phone and maybe leave a message or have a brief conversation with them and they see your email a few days later, they'll have name recognition. It also gives you the opportunity to touch prospects in different ways. Not everybody takes a cold call. Not everybody opens emails. But many people will do one. Occasionally, somebody will do both. But you're touching prospects from different angles, different ways, in hopes to penetrate their mind share and get some recognition and an opportunity. You also build name recognition or brand recognition for your agency and for specific producers. If you're consistently reaching out via email to a prospect list and or a client list, if your team or an appointment setting team working on your behalf is consistently dialing the phone, people will hear your name. They'll learn that you're a provider of value, presuming that you're doing email marketing and appointment setting correctly, as we'll talk about in a moment. And you'll be planting seeds in your prospect's mind so they know who you are and they know what your organization is about. You'll be extending your reach by touching new people as you build your email marketing database, as you build your prospect appointment setting list. You'll also be sharing information conveniently. Many people, especially younger buyers, as I'm going to mention in a moment, want to learn about you via email and via your website first. So as you're marketing to different generations, you can't always use the same methodology. You need to pick up the phone, you need to be digital, and hopefully you're doing both in an integrated and coordinated way. Most importantly, an integrated e-marketing and appointment setting campaign gives you the most direct path to lead generation. When we talk to our clients and prospects, they often say, what should I do first? Well, presuming that your general marketing, like your website and social media and marketing materials, are at least passable and hopefully excellent, you should start reaching out to people via email and via phone calls immediately so that you can start a conversation and uncover opportunities. So hopefully after hearing that, we all now agree that an integrated approach is highly effective, often the most effective way to reach your prospects. So how do you accomplish this? Let's start by drilling down on some email marketing techniques and talking about what works. Educational content is what works. You need to deliver value to prospects and clients. You cannot be salesy. If you are salesy, people will opt out, or worse, complain. If you're going to try to sell insurance via email, don't even bother. You have to be educational in nature. Here's some examples of what is educational and what has been effective for our clients and for ourselves in campaigns that we're managing now. Regulatory updates. An example could be, what's the impact of the Affordable Care Act on your business? Or how does this OSHA change impact your business? How does FMCSA challenges impact your trucking operation? Relevant industry news is another great example. How are landscapers dealing with seasonal workers, or restaurants dealing with seasonal influxes of staff under PPACA? Or how are trucking companies managing owner-operators? Case studies are great as well. Here is how a business like yours successfully navigated their challenges. By the way, we help them navigate those challenges, so you might like to call us. Newsletters are great as well. You can collate or curate relevant educational content. Hopefully it's content that your agency is producing or a competent marketing organization is producing for your agency, like blogs, articles, press releases, videos, etc. And webinars I have in bold because over many years we've found webinar invitations to be one of the most effective ways to deliver email marketing. The reason for that is, one, webinars are almost always viewed as educational, presuming you have a proper topic. And secondly, it leads to another lead gen opportunity. So you have your email campaign as lead gen opportunity 1, and the web seminar as lead gen opportunity 2, with people registering, attending, asking questions, requesting more information, etc. And be industry specific or verticalize whenever possible. Nearly all the examples I rattled off mentioned an industry of some kind. So whenever you can be specific, do it. If you're sending out a newsletter and you want to have an article for the contractors that are your primary vertical and an article for the manufacturers, which are your secondary vertical, do that. Whenever you can dial in directly to one of your industry niches, let those people know that you have expertise that can help them. So Alan, I know you were an early adopter in email marketing. What insights would you like to share about effective ways to leverage email as part of an integrated marketing strategy?
Well, for agents and brokers and wholesalers who are on the line today, a lot of them talk about marketing in general and lead generation specifically. If you're on the lead generation segment of your marketing initiative, in other words, if you say, beyond the other marketing things I want to do or I should do, I'm really interested in jump-starting my pipeline. I really need to bring better quality leads in so that my producers are busy and they're working within profile prospects. The fastest path to lead generation, to insurance lead generation, is integrated appointment setting with email marketing. The nuance with email marketing is what you say is as important as how you say it. So there's certain things that you want to do. You want to have dating behavior before you give them the marriage proposal. You just don't walk up to somebody and say, let's get married. You've obviously done some dating first. You want to get to know that person. It's the same thing in establishing a digital rapport with a prospective client. And we have empirical data that backs us up 100%. For example, benefits client, we'll call them a Eastern United States benefits client, selling to larger groups, let's say 100 to 1,000 participating employees. When it's just cold calling, when we just have an appointment setting campaign, we might only get an appointment or two a month. If we're calling after a webinar and email marketing campaign, that jumps to 10 appointments per month. That's a very big difference. So when you warm up your pool, when you have your warming pool and you're doing e-marketing, especially with high quality digital content like web seminars, perhaps newsletters or case studies, and yes, maybe blogs with industry news, it's going to dramatically improve the efficacy of the appointment setting initiative.
Thank you, Alan. So now we've reached out to these prospects via email to warm up our calls. Let's talk about the calls. And when you do reach out to people with an educational e-marketing campaign, you have a massive advantage, like Alan talked about. One, the people are at least aware that you exist. Two, they're hopefully aware that you're a provider of some type of relevant expertise in their industry or in their size category. And third, best case scenario, if you will, you've conveyed that you're someone who can help them overcome their business challenges. So now you need to pick up the phone. And before we get into who we're going to call, let's make sure we all understand who's going to be dialing the phone. Many of our clients and some of our prospects tell us that their producers will make the calls. And after we work with them for a while and talk about how these calls are going and the consistency of the calls, we find out that producers have clients to take care of and they have active prospects to take care of. And as the marketing campaign builds, they have new prospects to go meet with. They can't skip appointments to make calls to webinar attendees or registrants. So we often find that you need a competent appointment setter like our team or another competent marketing organization who can consistently reach out to the people like these we're sharing on the screen. And these are sort of in order of who the best opportunities from an integrated marketing lead gen campaign would be. Your webinar attendees, people who attend your web seminar, listen to your 20 to 25 minute educational presentation, and now know that you are somebody who can help them. People who register for the webinar but can't attend. Geez, I'd love to hear about that, but I got busy with a client. People who click or open your email campaign. We've sent out the webinar invitation or the newsletter or the case study or blog link, and people click on the link, so we know they have some level of interest in the message that we're broadcasting. We should call and see if we can help them. Or people that open it. They read it, they're busy, didn't get a chance to click, or maybe had a question before they wanted to click. Call them as well and determine what's on their mind. Interestingly enough, people often say our email open's really a good opportunity. That's consistently been one of our biggest drivers of appointments and actual closes in the last 5 or 6 years at Startup Selling. Call people who subscribe to your newsletter or blog, people who connect with you on social media, and last but not least, since you're hopefully having a broad calling campaign by an appointment setter who's consistently dialing the phone 20 times an hour or more, call everybody else after that and make sure that you're casting a broad net. You know, Alan, I know you and I have both made our share of calls over the years. Anything you'd like to share about appointment setting before we move on?
The lead handling process, which you're going to be talking about, is crucial to the appointment setting. And what we see frequently with many agencies that engage with startup selling, and this includes wholesale brokers as well, we see that they do not have a well mapped out appointment setting strategy for their producers. And it's a lead handling strategy. Who is going to handle the lead? What's going to be done with it when it comes in? When I'm following up on somebody who's expressing interest, how do I make sure that appointment sticks and that the interaction is positive, both once the appointment is made to the time that I actually conduct the appointment, whether it be through a web meeting, a conference call, or on site. So often what happens is there's many appointments being made, then the effectiveness of those appointments gets into the lead handling process, and that's an area that agencies need help or at a minimum should spend much more time looking at. It should be well thought through and succinctly documented.
You know, that's such a good segue. I'm actually going to skip ahead to that part of the presentation where we talk about best practices. So we've talked about e-marketing, we've talked about appointment setting at a strategic level. Let's get down to the tactical level and talk about some best practices that are absolutely critical to your success or failure with these campaigns. There are 4 areas that are important to appointment setting, and they're all interdependent. And as a former agent, I know that many of you are golfers, especially this time of year. All your clients, tournaments, associations, chambers of commerce, etc. And if you have a hole, a par 4 that you're looking down and you slice your drive into the woods, or you fade your iron into the bunker, or you skull a chip shot, or you peel a putt off to the right, you can't make par. Miracles do happen, but you need all 4 of those things to come together if you're going to make par, if you're going to score well. And the 4 things in appointment setting are your list, your pitch, the caller, and the lead handling process. The list is pretty obvious. You need to give yourself a good chance off the tee. You have to have some accurate data. X dates are preferable in any industry or niche or line of coverage where they're accessible. Your pitch is also critically important. You need to be succinct, 15 to 20 seconds tops. 10 to 12 seconds is even better if it's possible. And in that time, you need to find a way to convey your value proposition and a couple of key differentiators. So why you're important and a couple reasons why the way you do it is better than the person that they're probably already engaged with. You have to have an articulate and well-trained appointment setter, because even if you make it to the green, if you blast your putt by the cup, you're never going to score well. And lastly, the lead handling process, like Alan talked about. It should be a formalized procedure that all your producers follow religiously, because if it's not documented, this is where you have the 2-footer for par and you miss it. You're short. Document your lead handling process. Make all the producers that want to participate in your lead gen program agree that they will follow that process. Otherwise, you're investing in something that they're not using to its full potential. It could be very simplistic, like when a lead comes in, a producer or their assigned CSR will send out an Outlook invitation within 12 hours or within 6 hours, or hopefully even faster than that. The second step could be for any appointment scheduled more than 72 hours in advance, we're going to send a reminder or collateral. And lastly, it could be the morning of the appointment. We're going to send a reminder email that says, "Hi ABC Trucking, hi XYZ Company. We look forward to talking to you at 1 p.m. today. And if you need to reschedule, please let us know." If you follow these little steps, you will see a 20 to 30% increase in the number of appointments that show up and stick. And even the people who were going to show up, regardless of whether or not you followed this process, the appointments will be more productive because you'll be continually planting these seeds in their mind of what you're going to be talking about and who you are, so that they're more likely to show up prepared and engaged than somebody who hears from your appointment setter on Tuesday and then hears from you 10 days later with nothing in between. So backing up for a second here, email best practices. And this is the last area we're going to explore today, believe it or not. We're going to dive into a number of different areas, just like we did with appointment setting, to make sure that you understand what you need to do to be successful with email marketing. First is your list. The source of your prospect list is paramount, because bad emails equal bad results, or even worse, bad emails, if you're sending to them and maybe shouldn't be, are going to get you in spam trouble. They're going to get complaints. They could even get your domain shut down. Secondly, content. We've talked about that in great detail. We've discussed what works. Remember, selling is not an effective e-marketing message. A sales message is not an effective e-marketing message. Frequency. How often should you reach out to people? This gets a little bit into our secret sauce at Startup Selling, but we want to deliver value to the people who attend today. So we'll let you in on our secret. We've found over many years of doing this, over a decade, that the best frequency is 1 to 2 times per month. More than that, you may be seen as spammy. It's not something where more is better. Less than that, if you're only going every 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks or quarterly, you may not be making enough of an impact so these people remember who you are. Opt in. Always ask prospects whenever you're engaging with them to opt into your email list when you're on the phone, on your website, through all of your marketing. And conversely, when you do email them, always give them the opportunity to opt out. If they change their mind, you want them to easily be able to find an opt out rather than complain and cause problems. Canned spam. Most of you have heard of it. I doubt many of you have read it. If you're going to engage in e-marketing, read it, learn it, obey it, or hire a competent marketing organization who will do those things for you. Spam and rush words I'm going to ask Alan to touch on in a second because I think he has some interesting stories to share. But lastly, always have a clear call to action in your email marketing campaigns. If you don't have one, I wouldn't bother sending it. You want people, after they read something educational, they read your message of value, to know that you can help them, and here's where they need to click to learn more. Here's where they can fill out a form to learn more. Don't leave them wondering how they can get a hold of you. So Alan, I'm sure you have some great examples of spam and rush words. Can you share a couple stories or thoughts on email marketing best practices?
So John, when it comes to your next renewal, it's important you act quickly to ensure compliance. How do you like that sentence?
It's okay.
It's educational.
I think so. I'm concerned about
Except,
quickly.
except it said act quickly. And even if you use a term like that, that's called accidental use of rush words, it can not only make your delivery rates plummet for your e-marketing campaigns. This is really important for anyone who's thinking about doing e-marketing on their own or wants to get involved with the e-marketing initiatives at your organization. Be very careful of incorporating words that infer rushing. I'll give you another example of a problem. This is a great one. The Supreme Court, SCOTUS, has now ruled on same-sex marriages across the United States. Now, nothing wrong with that. That's probably going to be an educational webinar or perhaps a blog, except it used the term same-sex. Well, Bayesian filters don't care that it's same-sex marriage. They see the word sex and immediately assume it's spam. So if you do these things with your e-marketing initiatives, either spam words or rush words, or on purpose, you may say act now to get the best rates. Those can really damage your reputation, your deliverability, and if you have sufficient complaints, can actually hurt your domain. Startup Selling has best practices to help prevent that. We do work very diligently to make sure that your domain and alternate domain are always clean, that you're never blacklisted. We do many, many things to help our clients. If you're doing this on your own, you should do that too. John?
Thank you, Alan. So the next question that we're going to talk about is why agencies are not already generating email and appointment setting leads. And the same goes for wholesale brokers. And there's a number of reasons. As we talk to agencies and wholesale brokers across the country of a variety of sizes, operating in a variety of different niches in different states, different economic conditions, we hear the same reasons as to why they're not already doing this successfully on their own. The first thing is they lack consistent email campaigns. We sent a really nice New Year, New Business Challenges email in January. Then we got really busy with our 3-1s and 4-1s, and all of a sudden it's May and we haven't sent an email in 5 months. Or they are sending some campaigns on a somewhat regular basis, and they're not always educational, so they're not getting a good response, or they're not getting many click-throughs, or worse yet, they're getting some complaints. They maybe lack a professional e-marketing resource. Very few agencies in the country have a professional e-marketer on staff. It's usually somebody who likes doing this kind of thing and is willing to experiment, but it's not somebody who has been trained to be an e-marketing expert. Or they lack outbound, consistent calls. They make calls on Friday when they have a couple hours in the office, then they don't have time to make calls again till next Wednesday. They're not consistently hitting the phone to capitalize on all the opportunities that their marketing initiatives are creating. And lastly, and sadly, we often hear that agencies lack a formal lead handling process. We've even heard stories of agencies that receive appointments that have been scheduled for them. They don't confirm them. They don't even always call the people at the time that was set. It sounds simple, but everybody's busy. Everybody has a million clients and coworkers and active prospects pulling at them. These things can and do happen. So with that, we're going to move into a Q&A session. And the first question that came in, I'll cover. If anybody would like a copy of the PowerPoint presentation from today's web seminar, please call or email me. My contact information is on the screen. Or if you'd like to watch a video recording of this webinar to take any notes, we will be posting it to our website and YouTube channel shortly. The next question we have, I'll pose to you, Alan. What are the email list sources that you guys are talking about?
Again, when we talk about the visibility we have with so many agencies, we see that many, perhaps most, don't have a comprehensive target list. We ask them, how many emails do you have? Oh, I have, 300, or the producers have their own emails, or we have a list of about 700, or we don't have a very good list at all. When I ask about the total prospects, everybody that they want to sell to, it's rare that somebody says, yes, we have 5,000 people we've identified, COOs, CEOs, presidents, VP of HR, director of benefits, risk manager, etc., and we're all set with that. So we have excellent sources that we've culled over the years to develop a terrific prospect, a targeted prospect list by specialty or niche, depending on your terminology, the size of the organization, from 5 employees to 500, or 100 employees to 5,000, whatever it happens to be. Region, I'm covering all of New Jersey, I'm covering half of California, I'm covering the entire United States, and so on. You must have a great prospect list, or some people might arguably call it a suspect list, to then start fishing in that correct pond. So that's something that's very important. If you haven't done it, you absolutely need to do it, and that is carpe diem. Do it like literally today.
Thanks, Alan. The next question we have, I'll also pose to you. Why are appointment setters better than producers for outbound calls?
Actually, they're better and worse at the same time. So they're worse because, if you have a really good producer and he or she is making, 70,000 a year or 100,000 a year or 200,000 a year, whatever it happens to be, they're probably going to be very good on the phone. However, they're not going to be consistently good on the phone. They're not going to want to do the mundane blocking and tackling of calls. We all want to be the quarterback. Nobody wants to be blocking on the front line. So what happens is, if you get a really good appointment setter, they don't mind. They might even enjoy making an average of 22.5 calls per hour, which is what we do at Startup Selling, quality calls, 22.5 calls per hour, doing that 30 hours a week. They're making 700 calls a week, 4 weeks a month, and you're getting thousands of calls done, your pitch delivered consistently. On a prior slide, if I boil down that slide, there were 3 key words there to me. Consistent, professional, and educational. So the reason appointment setters are good is not because they're as good as a producer, because they're not. They'd never be as good as John Scranton or yours truly on the phone, except that John and I don't want to be doing 22.5 calls per hour. John, what John does, and he does a lot of our own biz dev at Startup Selling, is he cherry picks and he'll call 5 or 10 people perhaps for a week from people who've come to our webinars or expressed interest. We use our own appointment setters, and they'll generate 1,000 calls per month, and then from there, our key people cherry pick from those results. You should be doing the same so that you have your 8 or 10 or 15 appointments per month in your region so that you can have your producers spending time with people who are likely to buy instead of calling people hoping they might have any interest at all. Great question, whoever asked that. Thank you.
And thank you, Alan, for sharing all that important information today. And thank you all for attending. Anybody who would like a complimentary integrated marketing review to discuss any e-marketing or appointment setting that you're currently doing or currently not doing, we are offering a complimentary 15 to 20 minute review to anybody who attended today's web seminar. With that, today's web seminar is now ending. We hope you all have a great day.